If you follow Hell Let Loose, you almost certainly saw or at least heard about that unfortunate trailer they put out during the PC gaming show back in June, as well as some of the disappointing game updates that have since followed. The backlash from the community was quite intense, so Team 17 has come out since with an apology and agreed to sit down with my buddies Razbora and the Fresh Baked Goods on their podcast to address the community's concerns and assure us that they've shifted their sights from new content and features to bug fixing and quality of life updates in order to get the game back into a better place before moving on to releasing new content as originally planned. I've linked this interview down in the video description and it's a great watch, so be sure to check that out and subscribe to Razbora's channel while you're there for more content like this. And yes, even SoulSniper's been on that podcast, so you definitely need to check that one out, huh? Okay. The new transparency and more grounded direction being taken by Team 17 has certainly eased some of the concerns the Hell Let Loose community had. However, now it's time for Team 17 to make good on their promises. This morning, we got a new developer briefing which outlines what we can expect to see for the remainder of 2023, so let's get balls deep into this briefing. First off, there's going to be a very important public test starting this Friday, September 29th, that will run through Monday, October 2nd, which includes, drum roll please, a fix for the infamous loadout bug. Hell yeah.
Getting hit hard with the loadout bug today.
God damn, yeah, you are.
Gary.
That's right, folks. This bug may finally be squashed once and for all, but it's our turn now as the players to help confirm or deny the fix by joining the play session and testing on a large scale. This is something that really isn't possible for Team 17 to do on their own. So if you're someone who despises this bug and desperately wants to see it squashed, as I do, please try to make it to the PTE so we can throw some large volume at this new code and see if Team 17 has in fact fixed it. And if they have, let's show them a little bit of love for it. That's a big win. Now moving ahead a bit, we can expect to see patch 14.4 arrive on Thursday, October 12th, which will introduce new night variants of two of my personal favorite maps, Carentan and St. Miraglise. These two night maps are of particular interest to me because up until now, we don't really have a night map set in an urban environment. Both of these maps check that box and should make for quite an interesting experience. We've seen how night variants of maps like Foy and Curse completely change how those maps play, so it'll be interesting to see how the darkness of night changes the urban battles now. This patch will also bring the Fallschirmjäger cosmetic DLC. This DLC lets you step into the shoes of an elite German paratrooper known as the Green Devils. Their distinctive uniform, designed for safety during hard landings, will be available for infantry and recon roles. Now, one of the controversial new features that was introduced in Update 14 was the dive to prone feature. Many players felt that it was too easily exploitable, allowing players to dolphin dive to avoid incoming fire, and generally looked unrealistic. As such, this feature was recently removed by a patch, and Team 17 has worked on revamping this feature based on our feedback. This Friday's playtest will give us an opportunity to test these new updates. The developers have focused on making sure it's not exploitable, while also enhancing the player experience. Here's what's changing. You'll now carry momentum throughout the maneuver, making it impossible to change directions mid-dive. Momentum is conserved properly, so you can no longer dive while jumping. There's going to be a brief cooldown between dive to prone actions, so it can't be spammed repeatedly. The slide duration and speed have been adjusted for realism. The overall visual quality has been improved with smoother camera transitions, and they've also disabled aiming down sights for a short duration on landing, as well as introduced a camera shake that's triggered on contact with the ground. These actually seem like pretty thoughtful changes to me, and I personally liked the mechanic despite its issues, so I'm really hopeful that they've really nailed this feature now. The PTE will also give us a chance to try out some initial improvements to mantling and vaulting. With the recent removal of the prone jump, perhaps these improvements will make getting around the maps less tedious and an overall smoother experience. So make sure you show up to the playtest to provide your feedback on those changes. Now moving on into November, we can expect to see Update 14.5, which brings a new Dusk variant map for El Alamein. This variant will feature darkened lighting, gently lit with a fading glow that not only provides a new atmosphere, but also offers some reduced visibility for El Alamein that players can utilize to navigate the vast open terrain. So that should give you infantry folks a chance against dickhead snipers and machine gunners like myself. But seriously, it's good to see a new variant of LL main, as many servers have stopped putting it in the rotation altogether due to balance issues. Hopefully the reduced visibility will change how this map plays, similar to how the heavy fog and dark lighting changes how Kursk plays at night. And speaking of night, 14.5 will also introduce a night variant of Driel, which looks pretty damn cool. But not only are the British maps getting some love in update 14.5, the uniforms are too. The developer briefing gave us a look at the new desert uniforms for both the Brits and the Germans, and I'm happy to see these introduced. However, I would like to eventually see certain uniforms locked to certain maps, because it's going to look pretty goofy seeing British soldiers running around Driel in desert uniforms. Along with the desert uniforms, update 14.5 will also introduce a new paid DLC cosmetic, the Erbsenmuster Pattern 14 uniform for the German infantry and recon roles, and it looks pretty sick. The briefing also teased new images of the Stuart Honey tank and the Lee Enfield No. 1 MK3 rifle, but didn't confirm when these will be introduced in the game. For those of you who are just discovering this game and don't own it yet, there's going to be a free weekend in November, so keep an eye out for that, and be sure to join us on the SoulSniper server for some fun shenanigans. And speaking of our server, you goofs were featured in the developer briefing as well. Congratulations, and I love to see it. Thank you all for making our server one of the most popular in the world.
Frosty, no!
Alright, enough sappy shit. Let's take a look at what's coming in December with patch 14.6. Both Stalingrad and Kharkov will receive their night map variants, and the patch will primarily focus around general bug fixing. No real details were given on which bugs will be focused on, but it's still good to see that that's at the forefront of their focus. The briefing also mentions night variants for Utah Beach and Hill 400, as well as a dusk variant for Omaha Beach, but doesn't specifically say when we can expect to see those maps. To wrap up the brief, Team 17 also detailed their plans to release more frequent, small releases, which they refer to as patches, whereas significant content drops such as new maps, modes, and forces are considered large updates. The next large update will come in the new year and will introduce a new map, Mortagne, and part 2 of the British rework. So overall, this was a nice developer briefing, and it seems the community is fairly pleased with the work being done so far and the new direction being taken by Team 17, which is one that's informed mainly by community feedback. So what do you guys think? Are you excited for the future of Hell Let Loose? Let me know down in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'm also told that by subscribing to the channel, you're improving the odds of the loadout bug fix working properly, so make sure you do that. Alright guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out on the battlefield.